Let's continue. Beating this with the Mycenaeans and the Egyptians on Master, the Mitanni and the Assyrians on Professor, and now the time has come to finish up with the medium difficulty factions and win with the Hittites. That's going to prove mighty difficult. I have already tried and failed before. Don't think it's going to be any better this time around. First of all, let's have some sort of a plan. My faction excels at tiny cities, not growing them. So I can't even have a tremendous city population at the end of things. I could hypothetically try to go for conquest, but then, for all I know, I'm going to perish before I prevail. So there's also something to be avoided. I need 7 points in total, so what am I to aim for? If I am to try and go for some silly bit of conquest, I could hypothetically pump power to 18. What else? Well, I could try to build a number of armies. Pump that power and get power tax. Wow. So kind of like conquest, except not entirely. And at the very tail end of that, I will have the power to defend myself against my enemies and possibly conquer some territory. But the end game is just going to be pumping power to 18 most using opportunities. But not for the purpose of brute conquest, which does not win games, but for the purpose of acquiring the final few bits of final few victory points. However, if I am to make that work, I first need to get all those precious armies and fleets. And first of all, power tax. That's it. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Hittite chariots shake the earth, and the weapons are forged from fallen stars. The other imperialists, they start out with 15 food, 30 wealth, 30 science. New cities don't cost more than previous ones, so you can build plenty of tiny cities. Power technologies cost 20% less, so I presumably should just opt for many victory points out of power tax and just win that way. Possibly on Professor, possibly on Master, but I'm not going to meddle with victory conditions. Perhaps this can be done. Growing cities is 20% more expensive, and flag technologies cost 2 science more, so we are not getting flag tax. Playing on Professor, I don't think I can hack, and on Master, what do I do to begin with? This is a crucial, important choice. I don't think I ought to invest in flag tax. They're just not worth it. Now, for now, I am getting 12 units of science every single passing turn. Some from my glorious city, from all the citizens, some from the hills, and so on. I might just opt to get more science every single passing turn. Or would it be better to get wealth? No, if anything, I should get more food, but that tends to be notoriously expensive. Getting more food out of hills, good luck with that. I presumably ought to instead get more wealth, trade that wealth away for food, and work on that. Any science I can muster further down the line, I can spend on more science, but for now, I think getting more wealth is the way to go. It's a significant boost to my wealth. I get 7 a turn, getting 4 more a turn is going to be a meaningful impact. Almost plus 50%. Almost, no, more than 50% more, obviously. Because 50% would be 3.5. Alright, we are trading everything for food. I'll have less than this because I'm going to flag this very turn. Everything that yields a decent chunk of food, and next time I'm going to get my opportunities. I'll be at 16 science. What if I were hypothetically to trade everything for science? My citizens would starve, but other than that, I can at most have 46. How about I trade up to 30? The rest I spend on food, and I get more science every single passing turn. To do what exactly? What would I spend that science on? Those 4 extra bits of science, I think it's significantly more important. How significant? It's more important to trade for food. Let's not mess about. Two food per plains. All nomadic tribes. I am not going to have flag tax. Not too many of them at the very least. Plain tiles. Food per plain tile. 2 per tile. I think I should proc that further down the line. For now, I should presumably just flag more of these. And then redeem it next turn? That sounds wise. That sounds sensible. I will not acquire flag tags, as tempting as they may be. Yes, it's nice to be able to flag cheaply, but come on now, I just can't afford that. Not really. I could trade to get more science out of those precious planes of mine. But I think at 30 science, I might prefer to just get more wealth. So fine, let's trade 40% for science. Not get as much food this particular turn, and I'll redeem crop rotation with the next one. Alright, 30 science. It seems to add up. It seems to be a reasonable plan. We shall see how it works out, of course. Because it just seems like a reasonable plan on paper. Stone cutting is amazing, especially if I can secure those hills. Don't know if I'll be able to, but we'll see. 6 millions of wealth per turn, that's plus 50% more once again. We are trading for food and we are tracking the opportunity to be able to flag quite a bit of food this very turn. We need more hills, but for now I do need food as well. Now presumably the Mycenaeans will compete with us for those fertile fields. And if neither of us gets one, I will pay quite a price. I don't think I can necessarily afford that, so let's not take that risk. Let's instead flag as many food-yielding tiles as I possibly can, I guess. And then soon afterwards, we'll begin flagging hills. Oh dear, I won't have that much food next time, just 10 units of it. This is abysmal. But then again, I can't just redeem stone cutting quite yet. I hypothetically could. That's 3 wealth per tile. That would be 12, which would almost double the amount of wealth I currently have. Will it be worth it to try it further down the line? I think it will. As I flag a couple more tiles, it'll start making more and more sense. I'll get that surge in wealth, not to flag more hills, but to possibly deploy an army. To something along those lines. I do also desperately need food to fortify, to build those tiny cities along my border. Obviously, there was competition for these tiles. I could have safely flagged these ones, but how was I supposed to know? That would require quite a bit of foreknowledge. I know that in my previous attempt, I've managed to snag these neat little tiles. The islands. I'm not sure I can count on that. Trying to go for the grassland tile seems questionable as an idea. I don't think I will be able to place 5 flags in a single turn either. I just don't have those sorts of yields in terms of food. And I don't think I'll have them anytime soon. Of course, a man can dream. Fine. Might as well take the free flag if it's on offer. And try to claim this, even though I will almost inevitably fail. The Canaanites will take that. I love that hypothetically I am given a chance to flag these... to build these little cities, but alas, alas, I just can't afford that. Do I claim stone cutting now? Not yet. I also refuse to get flag tags. Maybe I should get power tags instead. And possibly give myself a chance of securing these little fields. I wouldn't even be able to afford it this turn, I guess. No, I guess I'll save up science. Go up to 30 next turn and get what exactly? More science? It does add up, but what am I to spend that on? Could hypothetically get more power techs reasonably soon. Just to be able to flag reasonably safely. There are plenty of wrong choices I can make, and the other stages of the game obviously impact quite heavily what happens further down the line. Should I have allowed the Mycenaeans to grab hold of those islands? I'm not quite sure. Obviously, it's better not to. But then again, trying to compete and then failing is also pretty bad. They'll almost certainly secure that. This tile has been secured by the Canaanites, I've mentioned this one. Completely enveloped by the Mycenaeans is going to get secured by them unless I get a power tech over there, which I absolutely could. Unless I want to get more science every passing turn. Or, you know, a bit more wealth every passing turn. I think the power tech is worth it. 2 power techs, in fact. And I can trade for science some more further down the line. Oh, or even this turn. That's reasonably fine. I have more power here than my competitors, so I can hypothetically try to nab that. Although, it would also be preferable to flag 2 things rather than a single one. Though that's not really an option, is it? Alas, alas. I can grab a 7 cost hill tile. But what else? Fine, let's try to take this. Trade mostly for food. I will get an army sometime soon. But not quite yet. Obviously the only ones with an army are the Assyrians. They tend to deploy their armies very early on. I was about to say I hope the Mycenaeans just go east, but alas, alas, they expand in both directions. Yes, are conquering the Elamites ought to deploy an army of their own soon enough. I get a free hill flag, which is extremely valuable. Let's plop it down over here on contested territory. Secure as much as I can in a single turn. Then let's secure these tiles that are heavily contested. As far as my science is concerned, I could get even more wealth. Yeah, wealth is precious, but let's get 7 more units of science. Let's get the ball rolling. Trade a bit more for science. And get even more science a turn. I do want those power techs, eventually. I might also want to consider getting an army. For a variety of purposes. If I were to save fully, I would absolutely be able to afford one. So let's save heavily. I will proc stone cutting sometime down the line. I could hypothetically proc it next turn. And if I were to do that, assuming I get 9, so 9 times 3, that's gonna be 27. And at another 27, I would easily be able to afford an army. Exclusively trading for food, let's go with that. Although, if I can trade for science enough to be able to get food out of, say, hills, that would also be splendid, wouldn't it? But no, let's not give in to that temptation. Let's trade for science, and then for that science, get more science every single passing turn from the tiles I have. Multiple copies of. This gets contested, but I do win, don't I? Yes, I do. 2 points of power against 1. A free sea flag, that's reasonably useful. However, I would rather get some food this very turn. And let's get all that money off of hills. Yes, and then flag what exactly? Now this is an interesting conundrum. I can hypothetically build one of those fabled tiny cities of mine. Wouldn't be half bad. And it would allow me to flag neatly, say, the sea. But I wouldn't be able to flag these little tiles, and presumably this will get taken by the Mycenaeans. However, I can cut them off at the pass over here. I can absolutely take that over with an army. I guess we'll take the city, we'll take the sea, and we'll get the sea yields. Building a city right here, deploying an army, and not sending it anywhere because I don't have the food. Next up, what do we get for this? Science, more science. Every single passing turn. I'll have 40 next turn. If I bring that to 50, then yes, I can get food off of hills. Or even more wealth every single passing turn. Let's go for the wealth. Let's go for the gold. Any opportunities? No, I've redeemed everything. There's the conflict between the Elamites and the Assyrians. Armies for all sorts of factions are being deployed, somewhat belatedly at times. The Mitanni have their own. that has not been committed to any sort of conflict, any conquest, any defense. If I attack them, they might as well be the death of me. Wouldn't quite want that. But then again, if I don't, then I risk these territories falling into their hands at some point. They're mostly competing with flags against the Assyrians, over at least. A free forest flag would be welcome. How about a plain yield deck? That's nice, but not as nice. Do I have any power in forests? I don't think so. I do not. Let's get money instead. If I lose that, so be it. It was a free flag anyway. And let's get the contested tile. Yeah, speaking of it being contested, ugh. Fine, let's move the army a bit. Yeah, speaking of stuff being contested, I will soon have to contest the sea tiles. And of course, getting yields off of the sea is such an arduous task. Getting a fleet is also going to be quite expensive as a prospect. I can save up, but I can't quite get it next turn. So might as well not bother, at least for now. Also, I will not be able to get any power at sea until I get at least a single sea tile. So I need to make that first flag. Also, trading for food is obviously beneficial because I want to plop down those tiny cities. Aqueduct. Brasina Hill for Hill Yield Tech, all conquer grassland space. I don't think I'll conquer grassland space anytime soon, but I am threatened by the Mycenaeans on those precious plains of mine. So what do I do with the science? What do I do? Faulty science. I could hypothetically get even more power in plains to aid in my defense. Spending this on food isn't particularly beneficial. Could get a smidgen more gold, but even that's not helping that much. I'm getting 42 units a turn. That's a decent chunk of change, I like to put it. And I can save enough to be able to afford a second army next turn. I certainly do not look forward to pumping power for defensive or offensive purposes. If I plop a city down here, it won't even emanate power far enough. So do I want to risk losing this? Hello, Flame. The Mitanni are attacking the Assyrians. The Assyrians are trying to defend against the Mitanni. The Elamites are over here. This territory is contested by basically everyone. Obviously it is. The fertile question. The Tigris and the Euphrates. And I have managed to resist with only power techs, no pumping. And as you know, that's what I like to see. Is getting enough population the easiest one? I wouldn't necessarily say so. I do have an easy time of building those tiny cities of 2 citizens each. But that would take me 15 cities. I don't think I can afford that. I would have to expand my borders severely. And I just don't have the land to do that. In fact, if I were to be honest with myself and you, I think I was more successful expanding my borders to the west last time I've played. So this is a bit of a cause for concern, a bit of a disappointment. So I don't know. My current plan is to at least try to get 9 armies and fleets in total. Quite possibly quite a few fleets. Hopefully before the Egyptians wipe everyone out. Then to also get power techs because my faction excels at that. They're reasonably cheap to get. After which point I just sit there and pump power. That's it. So I get enough wealth to build up armies and fleets. I get the power techs from science, and then I just spend wealth on power until I win. It's a simple plan. Will it actually work? I don't know. The front on the west is smaller than on the east. Oh, but I do believe the west is the real threat. The Mycenaeans and the Egyptians are the most powerful factions. In fact, the Egyptians, once they conquer all the desert and get the desert yields, become essentially an unstoppable force. They have already dug themselves in over here, taking what hypothetically should be Canaanite territory. Canaanite. 3 per forest. Let's get that wealth right here, right now. When low on wealth, brace yourself. And let's deploy an army right here to defend. Also, let's finally start flagging those precious sea tiles that I so much want to have. I'm also going to get food out of every single hill tile, thereby getting 8 more a turn. I used to have 6 a turn, so this helps a lot. That's more than double the amount of food I'm getting. And I'm also going to trade everything I have for food. Out of sheer desperation. I need to start flagging those sea tiles. I do also need... I'm going to need sea yields eventually, once I finally actually get those sea tiles. So this is the Mediterranean sea strategy this time, apparently. And it's not necessarily that because I want it to be it. But if I let the Mycenaeans take over the Mediterranean Sea, all is lost, essentially. The Mycenaeans then become too powerful. And my task as the Hittites, my lot in life as the Hittites, is to keep the Mycenaeans in bay. It's another faction wins most of the time, but ultimately I have to keep the Mycenaeans at bay. And if I can, I should also try to keep the Egyptians at bay, although that tends to be the job of the Canaanites. I do have 3 tiny cities. Interesting, so I can get 30 science right off the bat, no questions asked. But, is that wise? Is that the way to go? I think the way to go is instead, at least for now, to get a bit more wealth. As much as I can, every single passing turn anyway. Hold on, I can get 30, so I can get even more wealth a turn. Now this doesn't... Fine, let's do that. I'm redeeming it, getting up to 40, getting 3 more wealth a turn, so that's 47 units of wealth every single passing turn. Logos, help me. 83. At this point, I don't think I want to trade everything away for food. I think I'm getting a decent bit of food. Think I should consider getting power techs and other such things. I think I should consider moving my army onto those hills. I have no power at sea. I have no power here. Let's flag this final hill. I absolutely need it. Flag these tiles, and that's going to be it. Can't really move my units. Guess I have to live with that. What am I going to get with my science next turn, if anything? Doesn't seem like I'm getting much of anything. And that's a decent bit of wealth to spend. Getting seals right now isn't quite worth it. I think it's significantly more worth it to get some armies. Use some elbow grease to get some living space. I don't think I'll be able to conquer a grassland space anytime soon, though I could try to position 2 armies, say, over here, to mess with the Mycenaeans. But messing with the Mycenaeans is a dangerous prospect. Now, as you can see, the Mitanni are in charge. They are trying to take away the Assyrian territory. The Assyrians are battling the Canaanites, the Babylonians, and the Mitanni all at once. The Elamites are trying to do something, who knows what. And basically everything is threatened over there. Let's ignore the East. They're battling amongst themselves. That's what we need to know. They are not troubling us. Our problem are the Mycenaeans. That is the immediate problem. We don't want these guys to win, but they never win. The guys to the east never win, the guys to the west do. All grassland yield takes to half movement cost across grasslands, eh? Or grow all the cities in 1 turn, unlikely. Too many cities. What would happen if we took all the Mycenaean territory and the only thing left for them were the sea tiles? You can't. Because you can't... I mean, you technically can have a city at sea. That's the Atlantis thing. But actually, it's irrelevant. No, you can only have that off of an opportunity. The AI cannot build cities on the sea. The moment your final city gets destroyed, you lose the game. So that would never happen. The moment you besiege and take the final city is the moment they lose. They get erased from history. So it is a moot point. I got some power at sea. Let's... Yes. Let's see. I don't think it's worth getting science for grasslands or forests. Other resources maybe, because then you're trading science for something else. But to trade, say, 25 units of science for 3 science a turn would take a decent while to pay off. Now, I'm not saying it's completely not worth it at any point to make these sorts of investments, but I have to think ahead. What will benefit me more? How about saving up and getting some sealed sometime soon? But then again, that only makes sense under certain assumptions. And those assumptions may be horribly, gruesomely wrong. But yes, what I do need is power at sea. What I do have is power at sea. The Mycenaeans also have power at sea, but I can put a fleet over there. Lo and behold, a fleet over there. And now I'm going to try to flag this. Will it fall into my hands? I don't know. I'm fairly confident I can deal much more easily with the Canaanites, though. Just snatch this stuff off of their hands. Anything else I want? Any other power attacks? I mostly want power at sea, and I will have enough for that. Sea yields wouldn't be half bad, but they are prohibitively expensive. It mostly makes sense once you already have plenty of sea tiles. I only have 3 units of wealth, so it's quite an academic question. I guess if I want horseback riding, I do need all the yields for grasslands. So let's go for that. Fine. I will get more food off of grasslands the very next turn, I guess. Oh, I haven't actually put my... whatever. I still have enough, more than enough pressure over here. They have 1 power tech, I have a power tech and a unit, so I win. Were I to put the army over here, I would have put even more pressure. Thankfully, all the eastern forces, these 5 eastern factions, are just busying themselves with what they are doing to each other, not with me. Double your food yield to reduce food waste, that's cute. Or place flags at sea to get flag tax. Hold on, am I punished as far as reducing waste is concerned? No, that was the Mitanni or the Assyrians. World War 0, World War -1, man. It's absolutely brutal, look at this. Now the important thing is for them to remain in equilibrium. I don't want them wiping each other out, because then they become a threat to me. A balance of powers is necessary, though highly uncertain. Can I really get more food? I hypothetically can, I guess. Getting more food off of planes would be both highly beneficial and highly possible. Highly likely. So how about I try for philosophy? I mean, why would I ever give up on the idea of getting philosophy? Let's reduce food waste a bit. And, of course, I am threatened by them yet again. I will move a single tile to emanate power over there. I'm threatening this one, and I will flag... Can I flag too? I don't think I can. The Tyrannids versus Orcs. Yes. Basically. Right, I can take food off of grasslands right here, right now. I think I want to proc horseback riding as soon as I possibly can. So yeah, let's go for that. This will cost me heavily, but fine. Let's go for that. A bit more food every single passing turn. Doesn't necessarily seem worth it, but whatever. I do need to flag those precious sea tiles, but I just don't have the food. So increasing my food yields might just be the way to go, at least to some extent. I do take this tile, I do defend over there without pumping power at all. No, wait, what? Oh no, we will equal on power, but they had more surrounding tiles, so no, I do lose that tile. But at least that makes my border significantly more even, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. Invasion, that is a worrying prospect, so let's not. Let's finally proc horseback riding, so I have a free opportunity slot. Stop trading like a madman for science, and instead, save up wealth? Well, I could. I hypothetically could. I could trade like crazy for food. I presumably ought not to. I know I can get these tiny cities, and they are a very welcome prospect, but all the same, let's not. The Mycenaeans are in first place. And the thing to do is to flag what they cannot flag. Quality versus quantity only works if you actually have enough number. Yeah, that is a... I mean, I excel at building tiny cities. And last time I've managed to dig myself in quite neatly, but this isn't last time. I will be able to build a tiny city next turn if I refuse to move my army. Or if I trade a bit. You know what? No, this is worth it. This is worth it. Let's emanate power here, take this tile, cut that one off. And I need to have 24 for this city, 25 for that one. So let's trade to have at least 25. This makes perfect logical sense. I do want to defend my borders over here. I do want to defend my borders everywhere, obviously. I will have enough to threaten these tiles without pumping, so that's also beneficial. And I am largely saving up wealth to get more armies. But yes, my faction excels at power attacks. And I want to get quite a few armies anyway. So we are going for quantity. I do need to get those armies, and I do need them to emanate power without pumping everywhere all at once. People will have a hard time defending against that. Now, as you can see, the Mycenaeans actually have two separate fleets. I only have a single one, and they are trying to deal with the Egyptians. That's worrying, but then again, the Egyptians aren't doing that well. The Mitanni and the Elamites, yes, are doing quite well as far as people to the east are concerned. But then again, I am threatening this single tile for the Mitanni, and they are getting threatened by the Assyrians. So check this out. They are trying to conquer over here land from the Canaanites. They are threatened by the Assyrians, who themselves are also threatening the Elamites while being threatened by the Babylonians. Now, what will the Elamites, what will the Mitanni do? Either A, continue the onslaught to take territory from the Canaanites, B, defend against the Assyrians, or C, defend against this single tile, and that one being lost to me, the Hittites. They will defend. They will defend against the Assyrians. That's my guess. They'll move this army over here, I think. So this will fall to me. Oh, and by the way, I guess the Mycenaeans will also presumably defend against my fleet and other such incursions. But we shall see. I can proc the goldsmith. I can go for olive oil. That basically never happens. I would need plenty more hill tiles. And conquering in terms of getting hills is so difficult. But yeah, let's proc the goldsmith to keep on getting dividends, essentially. I have just enough science to get more power at sea. Absolutely perfectly worth it. Now I have 3 points of power over here, and they have, well, they pump power. They have 2 per unit at this point because they're pumping power to 2. Pumping power to 2 isn't really pumping a lot, but it is pumping a bit. I'm also going to fortify myself a bit by building one of my precious, fabled tiny cities right in this region. I could also pump my power to 2, but ultimately I have a single fleet. So the 2 fleets at 2 power are worth more than my single fleet at 2 power. Let's not even bother. Let's instead save up resources. Actually, I don't like the side of this. 15% will be wasted. Well, how about I cut my losses, reduce my wealth waste while I still can? That sounds like a reasonable idea. I could get more food a turn from the plain tiles. If I get to 60. Fine, let's get to 60. Let's get more food. It's nice, for no other reason than because I sometimes need to move my armies through hills. But yes, I figured they would swoop in to defend. If they're not defending here, I might just take this. We shall see. But, oh! The Mitanni have given away this tile to the Assyrians and that tile to me. And now I'll flag the forest. Move an army, costing me a lot. I'll conquer a plain space, which would be lovely, but I haven't conquered. I actually got threatened right here, right now. And I think I need to pump to defend my plains, of all things. Oh, I have to move my army a decent bit. I can also start flagging these sea tiles, at which point it might start being worth it to at least consider getting Sea yields. I have 8 sea tiles. That's more tiles than I have of, say, plains. Sea yields make perfect sense at this stage. Yes, and I'm about to start losing a lot, unless I do something. Well, moving here, flagging this little forest, and losing territory at sea. As unfortunate as that may be. I mean, I can pump to 3 power, but that'll not save me, so what's the point? Let's instead save the resources. Actually, I have 2 units emanating power over here. So I could save one of those tiles, I guess. Fine, let's pump power to 3. That'll be 6 from 2 units in total. Plus 2 techs, so that's going to be 8. I will be safe over here. I'll get kicked out of this tile, presumably, but... I can't do everything at once, I guess. I'm close to proccing philosophy. That's quaint. May very well proc it next turn. We shall see. They've moved further north. Fair enough. So I might not get kicked out of here, but I'll get kicked out of there, won't I? I'll get kicked out of both. And they threaten over here. But at least I didn't lose that tile. Burning pitch. On 3 cities and forests. Unlikely. All increase your power by 5. Quaint to get 1 power for a reasonable while. No. They're about to kick me out of a hill tile of all things. Ugh, bah. I could get power at sea. I could get power in hills. I could get all sorts of things. But no, I'm getting wealth off of sea tiles. Wealth. It's pretty worth it. It's pretty valuable. It's pretty snazzy. At least in my eyes. I have plenty of power at sea, so I might as well flag these tiles, take them for myself. I know I can build these tiny cities, but I'll do that later. For now, let's move the fleet over here to further fortify. Pump this much, I guess. Trade the rest for science to get those precious sea yields. That's what I'm going for. I don't have much in terms of the sea to the south, but at least I'm flagging tiles to the north. Got those 2, defending over here neatly. I should also be able to threaten. I do, on land, on those plains. Which, by the way, I should presumably threaten those plains quite severely, because they only have a single army, they have 2 fleets. Actually, no, they have 2... They've built a city over here, and they are attacking the Egyptians. This is... well, not unprecedented, but unusual to say the least. Now the Egyptians are in 3rd place, with Assyrians in 2nd, and Mycenaeans at 1st. They'll have a very rough time going all the way back here, because that costs plenty of food to trek across the sea, across all the islands, and to get all the way back here. This is my chance. They can send the fleet to defend, but they'll have a rough time, navigating all of this. So, I'm somewhat keeping them in check. Now the poor unfortunate Canaanites might just lose 2 units over here. If this gets cut off, both of these units die, and if both of these units die, the Canaanites are basically no more. Alas, alas. Brief respite, will that ever proc? I don't know, but I'll take it over Market Town. I'm not about to conquer a grassland space anytime soon. 8 units of science for 100 units of science? No. But let's get the... hold on. I want to proc philosophy. If I am to proc philosophy, I might as well make it worth my while. I won't get the Grand Bazaar, but I don't care for the Grand Bazaar. This procs philosophy and gives me the final tier of reduction in terms of food waste. Fine. Now I can hold food. Stockpile it as much as I want. Do I want this sea tile? You betcha. I will get these cities further down the line. Let's also stop trading oh so desperately for science. As lovely as science is. Or should I? Getting some power techs would be reasonably nice. But then again, so would getting more armies. And I can just about get another army. But I can get another fleet. Right next turn, as long as I save up wealth. And we will get that fleet. Now all I need this turn is not to be threatened. That's unlikely because they presumably will defend. Oh no, hold on. Both the fleets swoop in to attack the Egyptians. They are pushing the attack. I am taking the Sita. I am not attacking here. Will I get threatened? If I don't get threatened, I do get threatened. Ugh. Curses. I just need one turn and I get 15 gold just for not being threatened. But of course that's unlikely. Sewer system, no, because I'm penalized for trying to grow my cities, my tiny cities, into slightly less tiny cities. Build a city over here, fortify. Do I want to lose this bit of territory? Because if I don't do anything, I'm just going to lose this bit of territory. I can get an army. Hold on. We are getting another tiny city over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we are getting a fleet. That fleet is not going to... we are deploying it here on the coastal city. This might be enough. And if it's not enough, I'm going to retake that at some point, I hope. Okay, fine. We'll get power in cities to further aid in the defense. That should be enough. That should finally be enough. And if it's not, too bad. If I were to trade everything for science, I would get 84 units of it, which is enough for anything? No, it's not enough for anything at all. So we will not do that. I should start saving up wealth instead. And try to slightly threaten with my fleets. Or the single fleet I have. I should get more fleets down the line to actually get the Mediterranean Sea and make the Mycenaeans less of a menace. Now, as you might have noticed, the Egyptians have taken the lead. Oh, they have actually not cut off the never mind, one unit of the Canaanites has been lost to history. I can get the barracks, and if I am to win with power, I damn well should take the barracks. So we will save up wealth to reduce wealth waste. Oh, great, I am threatened over here. Well, will they swoop in to defend, or will they just take this tile away from me? Options abound. Oh, this is a fleet. Well then. I can hypothetically use this fleet over here. And since I am not threatening over there, I might as well move over here. Will that actually save me? No, it won't. Let's say pump power, which I refuse to do. Out of sheer principle. Do I want 2 more units of food every single turn out of forests? I could, but then I won't have enough next turn to get more power at sea, which is what I actually want to get. We'll also save up enough wealth to either get another army, fleet, or reduction in power waste, which will serve me very well in the future. They swoop in to defend, and they are trying to destroy everything I hold dear, take away my sea tiles. And they will succeed, predictably enough. Brief Respite is not proccing. It'll presumably not proc anytime soon. I'm not taking a hill tile. I am desperately trying to hold on. So do I grow this city to emanate some more power in the region, or do I proc? No, actually, no. Let's grow this city to give myself better odds further down the line. But rather than just thinking short term. Do I eliminate power waste, or do I recruit armies and such? I can always reduce power waste, I guess. But getting armies is a costly procedure, a difficult one. Might as well get one right here, right now. Can't really move it too far, can't really move it at all. But I'll try to do what I can. Now these units will move here and there, hopefully. Hopefully they'll manage to survive for a simply long time. We are getting more power at sea. I hate the idea of pumping, but is this the point at which I should start considering that? Now the Mycenaeans have 7 power here, I have 7 power myself, so I hypothetically equal that. However, they have more tiles surrounding. So encirclement is an issue, I guess you could refer to it as that. Fine, let's pump power to 3. The tiny bit that I have, I'm going to spend on that. For now. Might be worth it at this juncture just not to lose territory. Think of it as me paying to get these tiles instead of losing them. But then again, I should have looked at this and noticed that they would presumably defend. Though I do not lose the plain tile, so that's also worth something. Brief Respite also procs, giving me 25 wealth. Not completely pointless. Do I want to save up wealth? Saving up wealth? It's a neat little prospect. Fine, let's not waste wealth anymore at all. So I can save up wealth to get my armies. I do need that. I'm also going to unpump fully and move my army over here so I can threaten as many of those precious plain tiles as I possibly can. Once again, the prospect of getting food off of forests lies in front of me, but I think it's significantly better to get more power at sea at 144 instead of, you know, saving for another army or another tier of reduction. Yes, I am getting another power attack. Now, you may think it's crazy and you may be right, but that's what I'm doing. Do I want a further boost to my power? I don't... That's a lot of power. I don't think I'll necessarily take it, though I have two fleets and so do they. Are besieging the city of the Egyptians. Of course they're not going to let up on the siege, so I take two sea tiles away from the Mycenaeans. An army of the Canaanites just got obliterated. A city of the Canaanites is under siege. What is going on here? What is this? The Egyptians are doing a smidgen too well. Someone needs to put a damper on that. Do I trade desperately for science to get power attacks? Do I therefore want the academy? I have been trading quite heavily, so I might want to look into that, hypothetically. So I would essentially focus repeatedly on the reduction of waste. Fancy that. Wouldn't be half bad. I do like those power attacks, and I do have the objective to get power attacks anyway, though I do only need 5 more. So it might not be worth it to spend all that wealth just on the reduction of waste, instead of, you know, spending it on the science that I want to spend it on. But sure, let's invest in the academy. And next turn, I can proc that academy. Here I go, being threatened again. So what do? Do I move my fleets or do I grow a city? Those are basically my... Let's grow this city, this reasonably tiny city, and move one of the fleets. How about that? That way I can still threaten a bit without wasting too much. Alright. With all the science that I have, I might as well get more power at sea. That's 4 points of power at sea. Plus these 2, so that's 6 points of power at sea. They have 8, because they actually have decided to pump power. They have a single unit at 7 power and 1 power tech. I have 4 power techs and 2 units. Sheesh. We are saving up, we are reducing waste at this stage. We are not under significant enough pressure to have to worry. We are doing reasonably well. I could hypothetically attack to the east, but I will not. They're pumping so heavily that they might just take this tile, but barely, just barely they do not. They have 6 power, so I think they've unpumped a bit. And now, of course, the situation has become quite complicated because I'm fighting here, they're fighting me there, with a single unit, no less. Just a single little fleet. But that's what happens when they have so much power on so few units. And my goal in the end was to get more units. Yes, but as I have mentioned repeatedly, there's no easier way to defeat than to just keep on pumping power, because the moment you start, it'll become more and more difficult for you to stop at all, ever. It's tempting, I know, but it's like addiction. Do not give in to the temptation. You see an opportunity and you may think to yourself, if only I started pumping power now, that could be highly beneficial. No. You really ought not to. Alright. Next up, we will reduce power waste. I also need to get more armies. How are we doing on power over there? I could hypothetically threaten this grassland tile as long as I put another unit there. Yes, I think I can. And if I can, then presumably I should. Let's do it. I will also threaten the sea tile, obviously, and I do have quite an advantage when it comes to that. Once again, the opportunity presents itself. Food from forests? No, more power attacks. How about power in grassland tiles? I'd rather get power at sea. I need plenty of those power attacks, and once I'm done with them, I should stop investing in them. Invest some food to have some more power, fine. 2 turns, wealth of a single point of power. Eh. Let's see where this takes me. I will threaten over here. I will take over there because, well, they'll take a single sea tile away from me. Someone needs to take care of the Egyptians. Actually, the recent developments as far as the Egyptians are concerned may very well be my downfall. Especially if I take out the Mycenaeans. Look, if I cut them off over here, they lose both their fleets. So there's that. I can proc pikemen to pump my power a bit without spending, well, spending 20 wealth, but then again, it's quite a long boost. Well, I can hope not to get threatened for 4 turns, which doesn't really happen. Let's try to take the pikemen. See what happens. What's the power situation as far as the Mycenaeans are concerned? They don't have that much power over there, I see. So let's put the herd on. $220. I can trade quite... Wait, no, 250. Oh my goodness, I may have already lost because of this. You absolutely need to get more wealth out of citizens, and you need to get that as early as possible. I may have already messed up, and I may not be able to recover. I shouldn't have gotten that additional point of power at sea. I should have gotten, instead, wealth of citizens. Oh, they decided to let this go, and they are attacking the Egyptians. From 3rd place, they want to elevate themselves. The Babylonians have disappeared from history. That is horrifying, but at least they are taking care of the Egyptians. Also, yield text to half movement cost across the sea, or... a neat little opportunity to get a victory point. No, I'm sticking with what I'm sticking with my plan from before. Okay, wealth of citizens. And now let's save up wealth. Grow cities. And only barely move units. Anything else? I could proc pikemen, but no. And we will... Yes, acquire additional armies and fleets soon. I know that there's the reduction of power waste to consider, but no, not quite. Oh, right, of course. I also need to trade a bit for science because I do want to proc celestial navigation. So it's that. But no, armies and fleets. Then power tax. And then pumping power. We'll see if I am or am not too late. Now, as you can see, the Mycenaeans, I'll need... If they get cut off here, they lose their fleets, though. So they shouldn't. But if they take the city over the Egyptians, which they won't, that'll be a huge swing. The Canaanites, of course, are faltering. Not much I can do about that. The Elamites are also not doing so hot. They're in 2nd place. Sorry, they're in 2nd to last place. Uneasy truce, so don't be threatened for a mere 2 turns. That could happen. Fine, I'll take it. I'll humor it. Okay, proc celestial navigation right here, right now. No longer trading away for science, at least not desperately so. What if I were to trade 100% out of sheer curiosity? Over 300. Curious. Armies or fleets? Fleets are nice. I want... Fleets are nice, fleets are cheaper, and I do want those sea tiles anyway. So how about I focus on fleets, and I basically focus on fleets exclusively? How about we try that? So that's another fleet. Next turn, I will not be able to afford a fleet, but I will be able to afford a reduction in waste. Those are also reasonably nice. Let's see where this takes me. Fingers crossed. The Egyptians are fighting on both fronts against the Mitanni and the Assyrians, so 2nd and 3rd place over here, and against 4th place Mycenaeans over there. Not too shabby. Annus Mirabilis, proc 2 things all at once, not gonna happen. Horse archers, just practice to get 2 points of power for 3 passing turns. Okay, 3 consecutive turns, proccing horse archers. I want the power. Now that of course means I can't reduce power waste, but Sylvie. Should I pump a bit, not to lose stuff? Oh, should I just let it go? I am not pumping. You're threatening me with a single unit. Oh, they swooped in to defend. They'll probably take this anyway. Oh, they barely will not. And I do threaten because of that proc, because of that pump. The temporary pump. Might as well take the assassins right here, right now. Wait. Can I deploy another... I can deploy another fleet. Not the worst of ideas, but Is proccing the assassins... Well, I don't want to lose the opportunity slot. I don't want to waste an opportunity. So let's use this. And also, uneasy truce may very well proc if I don't get threatened this very turn. Also, let's reduce power to waste. I am currently at 6 power without pumping. Also, if I cut them off over here, they lose both the fleets. Which is disastrous for the Mycenaeans, but reasonably good for me. I can pump my power up to 8, hilariously enough. And since I can spend my food on growing cities, I might as well. That gives me significant... Well, that gives me a decent bit more wealth anyway. I shouldn't pump that heavily because I want to keep on reducing waste. There we go. So let's pump a bit, reduce waste next turn. We are well on our way to accomplish a great number of things. I do take this, but I don't... Wait, do I cut them off? Oh, Logos, have mercy, they've lost 2 fleets, and all of that is gone. And uneasy truce procs. This is beautiful. Also, I can proc Tremors, which will give me another tier of power at sea. Right, my beloved power tech. I can also aim for beer, but that's unlikely to proc. I would have to get 2 more tiles of planes. Not impossible. Those Tremors will almost inevitably proc, which will give me the 5th point of power at sea. Just 5 points for merely existing next to the sea. By the way, these tiles are also mine to flag. The Egyptians could get this one, but whatever. I think I'll leave this fleet over here, and I might as well threaten Egyptian waters. Why not? I could also deploy another fleet or reduce power waste, which would overall reduce my power. But it also, with it, carries the possibility of giving me the barracks opportunity. I will not pump power, though. I know where that takes me. I know what happens when you start compulsively pumping power, and I'm not gonna do that. Also, you know, I could have procced Tremors. Yeah, I've eliminated... Well, I haven't eliminated the Mycenaeans quite yet, but they're in a bind. So yes, now the Egyptians are quite a menace. Look, the Egyptians, however, have borders with plenty of factions. They have a border with the Mycenaeans over here, they have a border with the Mitanni there, with the Assyrians here, and with the Elamites over there. They don't quite have a border with me, thank goodness. But they do need to keep an eye on multiple enemies. They need to take care of multiple fronts. The poor, unfortunate Mycenaeans just have 2 units right now, so defending all of this will be basically impossible. But the Egyptians are in a reasonably good place. However, it's still a reasonably rough spot. They have plenty of people to compete with all at once. And as powerful as they are, I'm not sure they can compete against so many factions at the same time. Alright, what do I want? Because I could hypothetically strive to get another tier of power at sea. It's not impossible. Not only is it not impossible, it's perfectly possible. I can get the 5th tier for science, just trading for it, and then I won't be quite able to afford another fleet next turn if I do that, but it still seems perfectly worth it. Let's do this. The Egyptians flag some of the sea tiles, including this one. They are competing against me. And I do take it because I have more power at sea, obviously, and they don't have a fleet or an army over there. I do also take plenty of tiles away from the Mycenaeans, kicking them out all the way over there. Temple complex for victory points, tempting. But no. I have already decided how I want to win, and getting victory points off of opportunities is possible, though it can also be extremely costly. Now, I think the Egyptians have space on the map. Or do they have what? No, they got power attacks. I can't grow complacent. I cannot grow complacent, though. That would be a disastrous way to lose. Let's get even more power at sea. 4 points of power at sea. Sorry, 5. 5 points of power at sea. The next one is 288. I can just barely afford that. Wait, I can proc the barracks up? Oh, of course, I already have the barracks opportunity. What am I even thinking? Well then, I guess I could just take it right here, right now. How many more points of power do I need? 2 more power attacks. So, here's the thing. I get another point of power at sea next turn. I know that this is costly, but bear with me. I take that. Then the turn after that, I proc Tremors, giving me another point of power at sea. Logos help me how much power at sea I'll have. Although I still need to conquer that sea and not just have the points of power. And there are also islands to consider and so forth. But then I get the power technologies. At which point I need to get the remaining fleets. 3 of them, not that many. I get the armies and fleets opportunity. Well, victory points off of that anyway. And once I get that, well, the world's my oyster, essentially. Yeah, because then I just have to pump power, that's it. So yes, I will be getting a 6... the 6th tier of power at sea off of that. Let's just hope that the Egyptians don't somehow sneak a victory by me, but they can't. They don't have enough armies and fleets in total. I'll be taking those sea tiles, thank you very much. Oh, and here's a fleet from the Mycenaeans, as well as a land threat. Yeesh. Cavalry is here to give me more power. Legendary General, threaten 8 at a time. Unlikely. Let's instead take the cavalry to possibly pump my power further down the line once I need it. Another point of power at sea. Final point of power will be acquired soon enough. I am defending over here about as much as I can. And I presumably shouldn't focus on messing with the Egyptians. I should instead gang up on the weaklings. Oh wait, I can proc the barracks this very turn. Excellent. So that's the barracks covered. I will not spend my whopping 2 units of wealth on anything this turn. And I'll proc... can I proc Tremors next turn? No, I won't have enough wealth. That's okay, though. That's okay. I will proc Tremors soon enough, as soon as I can. The Egyptians are defending to the east. I could have taken this land off of them, possibly. I will get kicked out a bit. What happened? I did not get kicked out by some miracle. I can take mercs, hypothetically, all more armies than cities. That's not gonna happen. Ever, I think. The Elamites are attacking a city of the Assyrians. Come on, people. You need to focus on attacking the Egyptians. I guess I can take additional power attacks, should I want to. And yeah, I need, say, power in islands, if I am to take those with my fleets. Which, of course, gives me the victory point. Now, I still need those Tremors. I still need... I still need another fleet to proc this, to get another point of power at sea, and I still need a whopping total of 3 armies and fleets taken together, which I will try to acquire. 3 points of power for a single turn. But that cost me so much. If I proc it, how bad is that? I still am able to get a fleet next turn. That'll do. That'll do. I'm not spending on anything, thank goodness. I'm saving wealth, and because of the courthouse, I am not wasting any wealth. They've swooped in to defend. Do I still take the tile? Not quite. They are at 6 power. I am at not that much, but I threaten them to the north, so they'll have to venture to the north. Caravansary, I could hypothetically try to conquer a desert space. Oh, you know, catastrophe for being threatened is also an option. Can I take a desert space off of the Egyptians? I'll just have to veer to the south. It's not impossible. Though unlikely at this particular juncture, but not impossible. If I am to start conquering, and I am, might as well consider that. Alright, we are getting that fleet. Sending it... Let's just deploy it first. Proccing Tremors, giving me another point of power at sea. And then let's start growing the cities. To fortify myself in my own territory. I will also save up wealth, nicely and neatly. To be able to afford more armies and fleets. The usual. I just need 2 more. 2 more fleets. That's it. Fleets are cheaper. I'm going to get fleets. They are still quite expensive, but because of the courthouse, I can save up wealth without wasting. I just need 2 more fleets. I need them not to be destroyed, presumably by the Egyptians. The Egyptians are 12 power. I'm at 2, by the way. This is hilarious. And I'm threatened over there by the Mycenaeans. Do I threaten them over here? The tiniest of bits. If I get kicked out of here, then so be it. I don't really care that much. The ornamental gardens are not worth it. All island yield sticks to have movement cost across islands. Could hypothetically be worth it. It's not that expensive, I guess. I won't have that many... We are getting power in islands, just to be able to besiege them somewhat. And I will be moving my ships over islands, so that's also meaningful. Let's move my units over there to defend as much as I can on the cheap. Next turn I will be able to get another fleet. Once again, I'm threatening a bit without pumping. Will they desperately swoop in to defend a single tile? No! Well, then they will lose this. Getting 3,000 in return. Quite a good trade, I would say. Hilltop Oracle to get an unknown amount of signs. Will own most of the grassland. No. Proccing this. So getting sailing. Getting another fleet. Deploying it right here. I'll be chewing through those sea tiles, although I still struggle with islands. But that's so. If I were only to pump my power up to 2, I would be in such a better spot. Well, I could hypothetically do that. How much do I need to spend to proc that opportunity? Well, no, I've just spent science, so that's not happening. But I will do that sometime soon. I can't get another fleet next turn anyway, so I might as well trade a bit for power. Let's get up to, say, 3 units of power. It's not that much, but it is quite a bit nonetheless. And I need to pump my power anyway, so as to secure victory. So we will get the final fleet, we'll pump the power, might just win. Who knows? Oh, the Mitanni are doing reasonably well against the Egyptians. Well, well, well. What do we have here? And the Mycenaeans aren't done yet. They are still fighting. They're still struggling. Hard-won peace is tempting, but I'll presumably get threatened from time to time. Catapults are more tempting. They give me a boost to power, a burst of power that I'm going to need to get those final victory points. Oh, I also much want to besiege those cities, don't I? Well, a point of power in cities... we'll take care of that quite neatly. Also, I can't quite get another fleet quite yet. That is fine, though. One, two, three. Wait. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. They're the same distance away. So let's make this bigger. I will have enough to get the final fleet. That's the final one, right? I don't need any more. That's the final one, at which point I only have to pump power and win. That's it. I think I can actually do it this time. I think this is the time. They swoop into defense, so I don't lose that bit of territory. They don't lose the city, so hooray for them, I guess. And I do threaten in all sorts of other places. Chariots for more power. I'll fight theater for victory points. Chariots, please. The chariots on top. And let's travel all the way over here. I have 4 victory points now. At which point I just exclusively start pumping power and spending science on opportunities that grant me power. And I win through power. Isn't that lovely? So the Egyptians are in first place, and second place are the Assyrians. I don't think I'm in dire straits. I don't see that. Although that may just me being somewhat blind. Let's spend resources on cavalry this turn. Because this lasts 4 turns. The catapults are significantly less permanent. I'm pumping power over here, saving up science. So there's basically nothing to do. I've pumped power. I've done like fine. I can try to conquer over here a bit, I guess. Let's do it. I could have tried to defend over here as well. But once again, this is not about conquest. I don't necessarily need more territory. I just need my power to reach a certain height. The Canaanites have disappeared from history. They were not the first faction to disappear, and they held out for a decent while, so I respect them for managing to survive as long as they did. Military drills to increase my power even more after I increase my power. I have a decent bit of power here. The Mitanni can take the other tile though, I guess. So maybe I should just go my city? Grow the city, take the tile I can get. Anything I can proc? Not exactly. Next time I'll be able to proc the thing that costs 200 science. My power is at 6 now. I'll be pumping it to 8. Well, that's about it, I guess. There are only 6 factions left. With the Mitanni in second place after the Hittites in first. You mean me? Oh, you're too kind. Owners of the Islands or Pikemen, that's a reasonably sized boost. However, it's a small boost but lasts long. Not worth it from my perspective. We're getting the catapults to get another boost. And I'm pumping my power all the way up to... Okay, I am not losing this. You stay away from my city. Okay, can't move a unit over there. How about this one? Alright, well I can, I guess. But I'm not moving this. No. I mean, I know I'm besieging this, but whatever. It's not worth it. Going to 13 power, I should be fine. The Mitanni only have a single army over here. I have 4, I'll be fine. Oh, and by the way, with that overwhelming amount of power on just 2 units, I take a Mycenaean city, which procs military drills, which gives me more power. And now I can take horse archers to, you've guessed it, get myself more power. 2 points for 3 turns. Proccing that. I am even threatening the Mitanni. Fancy that. I'm also threatening a city of the Mycenaeans, and I will be at 18 power? That's interesting. That's about as much power as I need. Well, I guess that sells it then, doesn't it? And of course, I do conquer here, I conquer there. Take on a city of the Mycenaeans. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair.
Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair.
Victory has been achieved. In neat style. Okay, I had a plan and I've executed it properly. Colossus sold 9 armies and fleets all more. Statue of Zeus sold 18 power all more. And the Temple of Artemis sold 12 power attacks all more. The Mitanni of all the factions were in second place with the Pyramids, so 30 city population or more. And the Temple of Artemis sold 12 power attacks or more. All the other factions that had a victory point, so the Assyrians, Egyptians, and Mycenaeans, had, you've guessed it, the power attacks. The Elamites, Canaanites, and the Babylonians, unfortunately, had no victory points, with the Babylonians and the Canaanites having been eliminated, and the Elamites holding on for dear life. So that's it. That's it. The balance of power has been maintained reasonably well. At some point, the Egyptians fell from grace. Early on, the Mycenaeans were thwarted in no small part by me. And I have managed to prevail, of which I am reasonably proud. Thank you all so much for watching, and you will see me elsewhere.